Hey guys, Red Pen Mining here. Hope you're doing well, having a really great day. This video, okay, I want to just do a talking head with you guys, just talking out of my head here. I don't have any script or anything, I never do, but just wanted to give my perspective and everything regarding, mining, Bitcoin mining, I guess Bitcoin maybe as a whole, and our ecosystem, and just how I've seen things now over the past, I'd say half year. And obviously, I mean, I think you guys all know what has transpired over the past 6 months with the, downturn of Bitcoin's price, which in turn has affected a lot of, other niches within our ecosystem of Bitcoin, or I guess Bitcoin mining as well. I guess for our little niche here, for all of us that are still Bitcoin mining, which, doesn't seem like many people anymore. But I want to talk about that with you guys. And I think it's important for us to just acknowledge what is happening currently and also maybe what to look for coming in the future, because, this is why we are all in this space for most of us that are still here, which I know maybe not a lot of us are here. And, Google Trends can definitely explain that, in terms of YouTube views and whatnot. I mean, it's very cyclical in a way, and I'm going to talk about that in this video. Okay, so we'll do that right after today's video sponsor. Looking for reliable Bitcoin miner hosting without the headaches and downtime of curtailment? Check out CoreX hosting. I have been hosting my miners with CoreX hosting for over a year now, and they've become one of the top hosting providers I trust for my ASIC miners. One of the biggest advantages with CoreX is that they do not use curtailment, meaning your miners keep running instead of being shut down during high demand periods. Consistent uptime is extremely important when every hash matters. CoreX offers both air-cooled and hydro-cooled hosting options, giving miners flexibility depending on their hardware and goals. I currently have both air and hydro units hosted with CoreX, including my newer WhatsMiner M7D hydro unit, utilizing their new advanced hydro infrastructure. If you have expensive residential electric and are looking to host a high-performance ASIC, or looking to scale your mining operation, having dependable infrastructure, competitive power, and a hosting partner you can rely on makes a huge difference. If you're looking for a mining host that focuses on uptime, reliability, and supporting the future of Bitcoin mining, check out CoreX Hosting at corexhosting.io and see what they have to offer. Link in the video description below. Okay, so I'm going to start off with just going to say that majority of us I know are in this to make money. And I know for a fact that's true, because for majority of people who are Bitcoin mining, or for anyone that is, crypto mining, I have seen all walks of life in terms of people's financial situation, whether or not they are able to, keep on mining and maybe paying their electrical bill out of pocket in hopes that, the Bitcoin that they're accumulating will go up long term, right? I think that's like pretty much the base strategy for majority of crypto miners that are, or even any type of other investment out there that you invest in, your time horizon is maybe longer than, maybe a couple years. So in terms of like maybe the past 6 months in our situation, it's definitely been rough for those that are crypto mining, for those that maybe don't have that, extra capital to, continue on in mining. But just maybe a broader approach just to think about for me that I've been thinking about is there's a lot of other aspects in our ecosystem that are also being affected. It's not just Bitcoin mining, and all of us are thinking about profitability, but there are tons of other businesses in our industry that are affected because of Bitcoin's price, right? Because of the market where it is right now, where Bitcoin's price is. I mean, you guys have probably seen a lot of the news, and a lot of it's not just large mining farms that have exited crypto mining or Bitcoin mining and they're going into AI, but a lot of them had to sell their Bitcoin at the lower lows here because they just couldn't afford it anymore, and their electrical price, depending on their miners that they had, just wasn't efficient and profitable at their electrical rate, factoring in all their expenses, etc. You guys have definitely seen all that news that have come about over the past 6 months, I'd say, ever since Bitcoin has been pretty much on this downtrend since October of 2025. And now Bitcoin is, it was over, 100K. Now we're at 63K. And, between that time, we've seen a lot of turmoil in a sense, a lot of people that have maybe unable to keep on mining and, maybe had to turn off. And Bitcoin's hash rate has definitely depicted that, because it's been dropping since October. It was at the peak. I think Bitcoin's hash rate at the peak was over 1.3 zettahash. Now, as of recording, we are at 906 exahash. So, it's a good 400 exahash that has come offline, and that's a lot. That is a lot of Bitcoin hash rate that has come offline. Granted, though, over the past couple months, I know of a lot of people who are expanding for those that are able to garner cheaper electric. And there definitely are some people who are doing that. Not a lot, because I'm going to have to say there's definitely more people turning off, more mining farms turning off, liquidations, shutting down S19s, maybe S21s, depending on their electrical rate. It's apparent because of, you can see the total network hash rate for Bitcoin has been dropping. And that's because of, Bitcoin's price, obviously, because we are at the mercy of Bitcoin's price, which it's not just Bitcoin miners at the mercy of Bitcoin's price. There's a lot of other things in our ecosystem. It's a lot bigger than us, to be honest. It's like, for example, like ASIC manufacturers, right? ASIC manufacturers, when the price of Bitcoin goes down, sales for big boy miners are obviously down, right? And that's obviously apparent when every time, profitability is low. Let's say, maybe not a lot of people are going to buy L9s right now because of profitability is just in the gutter for like an L9 at like 85 cents. They're pretty much breaking even. And that's just, one example in our ecosystem. I'm going to say there's like chip designers, there's PCB manufacturers, power supply manufacturers, cooling companies, hydro cooling companies, which I think hydro is definitely like, the next big thing for people that are going to expand right now, especially if you are looking to get into, higher hash rate, higher effective hash rate, and then also efficiency as well. Hydro is obviously going to be the next level for Bitcoin mining. That makes sense, right? Because of how there's a lot of positives regarding it, which I don't really want to get into this video. You guys probably know, but like less dust, less maintenance, et cetera, et cetera. But anyways, our ecosystem here is just bigger than all of us. And from what I've just been kind of thinking about it, it's just not crypto mining. It's not just you and I, but like people that are, very heavily invested into Bitcoin mining. It's not just miners, right? There's like people that are maybe electricians that are in the Bitcoin mining space, maybe infrastructure companies, I don't know, maybe mining pools, right? Mining pools. We've actually seen a few mining pools that have had to shut down. Some large ones, actually, like Poolin. I heard Poolin shut down or is going to shut down. And we've had a couple of them. Every time there's been a downturn in the market or, a bear market per se, for those that do believe in that or don't believe in that, which I'm not going to get into that. But every time we have a downturn in the market like this, we've seen a lot of companies, a lot of businesses just, exit because they can't afford it anymore. And that's really where it ties into, unfortunately, we're all tied to the mercy of Bitcoin's price here. And so, other things I've seen are like ASIC repair technicians, maybe ASIC repair companies. Those guys are probably still in business. A lot of people need their ASICs repaired, but like ASIC resellers, okay? So people that are selling the miners, right? I've seen it from a lot of my resellers. They're saying the sales are completely down, right? Across the board. As you all know, Crypto Miner Bros, big sponsor of the channel. ASIC Marketplace, big sponsor of the channel. They've said sales are down across the board. So again, another example of how, the market affects not only, miners, but resellers. Again, mining pools, depending on, how profitable the mining pool could be, because depending on how much hash rate they have, also depending on the fees, the fee structure that some of these pools have, they may not be able to break even or, stay afloat depending on how much expenses they have. How many employees do they have? Do they have enough hash rate here to really stay afloat, to stay profitable as well as a business, right? That's where everything is. Honestly, it's like falling through the cracks. As you all have seen for the past 6 months, a lot of companies have been shutting down, and it's been quite apparent. And another example I want to give is like YouTubers, okay? Influencers such as myself, okay? I'm still here, obviously, right? I'm still making YouTube videos. I'm still here with you guys, making content and whatnot. I do this full time. This is my full-time job. I make money making videos. I have sponsorships. I have yearly sponsorships. I have yearly commitments, obligations. The sponsors that I have are able to keep me afloat throughout the year, etc. So this is my job, right? This is my full-time job. But to just expand into how, since the market's been going down, it has tied to a lot of influencers and YouTubers also, exiting the game as well, because it's not, maybe not a profitable venture for them, or maybe they have other, moral factor towards, crypto mining, which I do want to get into. I've been having this, I guess, issue myself regarding, you guys have seen me recently, review a lot of these like Bitcoin solo miners and whatnot. I have reservations regarding this, and it's really unfortunate to, still make these types of videos, because there are obviously people that are loving this stuff, or people who are doing this as a hobby and not necessarily doing it for the money, which are, a lot of people out there, and maybe a lot of people are trying to solo mine a Bitcoin block. But then there's, I'd say, the vocal majority of people who think this stuff is a waste of money. And I'm kind of in that boat, because I've done everything at a larger, not a larger scale, but, big boy miner way. And, I'd rather have big boy miners versus the smaller miners, but that's just in my situation because I have the infrastructure to do this type of thing. Anyway, I can't appease to everybody, and this is a conversation I think we need to have another day. I could make a whole video talking about, all these types of solo miners and whether or not it's a waste of money, but depending on someone's situation. And are you going to hit a block? Are you lucky enough to hit a block? 99.999% of people out there are never going to hit a block. Morality wise, I feel like it's definitely getting kind of, I don't know. Anyway, let's move on. Let's move on. You guys can tell me in the comments how you feel, about all this stuff. But okay, let's move on. Not just YouTubers that are, leaving or that have left. Unfortunately, I truly miss everyone that I've had, camaraderie with a lot of the YouTubers that I've communicated with over the past, 8 years of doing this. 8 years now, almost 8 years of doing YouTube. And I've seen a lot of people come and go, right? As we have bear runs and bull markets. Obviously in the bear markets, people leave, but in the bull markets, new people come in. And, I've seen that time and time again. I've seen new people come in, and a lot of the old guard people go out, and it's unfortunate. And I definitely, I understand why people leave, and it definitely sucks for our space and for a lot of people, the crypto mining YouTubers, for some of them that have left, or maybe some that took a break, or maybe aren't making as much videos anymore. I get it. I get it. It's a hard thing when the market goes down and, everyone's kind of in a depressed, more, I guess, senile mode for some, including myself. There's times where I get kind of that way. And for those that have watched my channel over the past couple of years, I'm going to say I have been more senile, more pessimistic against a lot of stuff. And, but it comes and goes. And at the end of the day, it's going to be because of, your wallet, right? You're going to be voting, you're going to be buying stuff based on your financial situation. If you're trying to invest in something that you think you can get a return on it at a certain amount of time. I've seen all walks of people who have gotten into this space and have spent millions of dollars and have lost it all. And I've seen people who have spent maybe not that much and won big. I've seen all types of people who have really, truly have succeeded in this space. But more often than not, I've seen majority of people not succeed in this space. And that's what is kind of like, that's what hurts me, especially regarding like all these little solo miners and stuff. Some of them, majority of people are never going to make their money back on these things. And I think there needs to be more and more people saying that. And I think I need to be better at saying that for sure. But anyways, moving along. Okay, let's just keep going, guys. I just more and more as I see things out in the world right now, it's the bear market, right? It's the bear market of Bitcoin, and this is what's going to happen, right? People are going to leave. People who don't have the funds to keep going are going to quit, and it's unfortunate. right? Not everyone can keep on going in this space. And I think that's been more so happening more and more, I guess, every cycle, it seems like, because Bitcoin, okay, even though there's like a $30 million emissions a day for, especially for Bitcoin mining, you know, this type of money is pretty much going to be split off against everybody who is in this space. Like I said near the beginning, right? Bitcoin mining and Bitcoin is bigger than all of us. Okay. And the amount of money that is being extracted by Bitcoin, and for all the types of businesses out there, it's not just us, influencers like myself. You know, I need to make money too. ASIC manufacturers, they're going to make money. Maybe they're going to pump some coin and try to, get the most amount of money out of it and get people to buy the coin. And why is this website not loading? Man, Dogecoin. I'm trying to load up Dogecoin here, but time and time again, we've seen, some coins pump because of some new miner that comes out. And, ASIC manufacturers are at the mercy of the price of the coin and also at the mercy of people's wallet, if they're going to be buying a miner or not. Right. And, it goes again, mining pools or big, large mining farms. There's many niches out there. I'm sure there's a ton more out there in our ecosystem that are really affected by Bitcoin's price. But what's funny though? Like every time the market goes back up, every time Bitcoin goes back up, money starts to flow back into our ecosystem, right? People start buying miners, right? Investors start entering because, they're getting optimistic again, hosting companies, people that are hosting ASIC miners, people are wanting to host their miners because it's profitable and the market is up. Miners expanding, sponsors want to spend more money on YouTubers. That's something I've definitely experienced. Repair shops get busy, manufacturers are selling out of their miners. Every time that happens when Bitcoin's price goes up, that happens. So what in turn, okay, this is where I'm going to start going a little bullish here. Don't, hit the dislike. The theory here, the mentality or psychological thing regarding when there's a lot of fear in the market, that's when you normally, buy in or maybe dollar cost average in, because for those that are financially capable of doing that, of course, because I think majority of people are not financially capable of doing that at this moment. But for the, 100 of you who watch my videos still, I'm going to say majority of you are probably, financially comfortable or, have expendable income to still continue on in this space because you believe that Bitcoin is going to go higher than where it is now. That's it. That's simply it for a majority of people who are in this space right now, including myself, Red Panda Mining. I've been in here in this space because I truly believe in the market cycles, 4-year cycle of Bitcoin, that we are eventually going to go back up again. And so for me, the plays that I'm working on or are attempting to work on is like hardware arbitrage, buying hardware when it's cheaper. And it's not really that cheap, to be honest. Okay, for especially buying new miners, they're really not that cheap. They haven't really come down that much. But what I'm kind of looking for is just deals, and maybe, unfortunately, for people that have to exit the market, take advantage of buying their miners at a lower price. And I hate saying that, but that's the truth. That's what, how this space is done for those that are in this ecosystem. I mean, there's consignment out there for large Bitcoin mining farms that are, liquidating S19s or S21s for pennies on the dollar. And, they take advantage of that and they resell them for a lot more, right? That's another business. Okay. For people in the bear market, those consignment services or even the resellers who are able to attain the large mining farms, for those that can arbitrage and, make margin on selling, miners for a bit more, that's actually a legit business model that some people, or actually a decent amount of companies do. And so for people that are in the bear market, there are winners who are making money that way. And so there's all types of businesses in our ecosystem. It's just huge. And I have experienced it all. I have heard it all. I have networked with a lot of these people who are doing that. And it's quite insane as to, depending on our market, the price of Bitcoin, the types of businesses that are still here, able to stay afloat or stay alive in this market. But guys, when Bitcoin falls, where we are now, everything slows down, right? Everything is slowing down right now. people stop buying. Instead, they're maybe waiting, or unfortunately, they have to exit because maybe they lost their job or they got laid off, which is happening more and more apparent over the past year because of our economy, right? Maybe resellers are selling lower prices, or hosting companies, unfortunately, people are exiting because their miners are no longer profitable when Bitcoin falls, right? Used equipment comes on the market. Consignment services maybe step in, they can make money. Expansions, plans get canceled, and like everyone starts, preserving cash because they're trying to lower their risk, right? And so that's when the price of Bitcoin starts going back up, that's when people start flowing their money back into the market. So one thing I forgot to talk about earlier, but Google Trends shows that Bitcoin mining and GPU mining, it's just really, there's really not much interest in it right now. What has a lot of interest in it right now is AI. And you can see on Google Trends, Bitcoin mining, comparing AI to Bitcoin mining or GPU mining. Bitcoin mining and GPU mining is not even a speck. It's not even registering a point against AI on Google Trends. AI is literally at the top of Google Trends right now. Where we are right now in mid 2026, AI is, everyone knows that AI is the huge topic of the world right now. And I mean, you guys have seen it on my channel too. I have been getting into AI stuff. I've been getting into GPU rental. I've been, renting out my GPUs for quote unquote AI, which is just GPU rental. I'm just renting out my GPUs, which majority of you know that I have been into GPUs since I started this channel. So it's kind of been this nice natural progression back to GPUs for me. I love it. I love GPU mining and I love GPUs. I'm not mining, but I'm GPU, I guess, AI stuff now, which has nothing to do with crypto, which is also kind of like going against my, how do you say it? I don't know, my fundamentals. I guess like I'm normally a crypto mining channel, but now I'm going into this whole AI stuff, which has nothing to do with crypto, and AI, which is now being an actual use case for, well, I know a lot of people are going to say AI has no use case, but for their JPEGs or, AI videos, but that's the way it's going right now, right? And, or AI agents for their businesses, there are some good use cases out there that AI is doing. I know a lot of people don't like it. Okay. I know there are a decent amount of people who don't like the AI content, but my views are showing that AI is, the popular thing. And that's what people like. You can see, I got 13K views on I can't believe the 178X can do this now, 8 days ago. Another 178X video, 8.7K views. My Tesla V100s, 11K views. And then let's go like my solo Bitcoin mining. Okay, well, this one got 7.2K views, so that's not bad. But, here's another Bitcoin mining one, 5.1K views. I mean, anything that's to do with, Bitcoin miner or solo miner, it doesn't really get as much views as my GPU like AI videos, which I think is obviously apparent I mean, a lot of you guys that watch my channel are probably into that. You guys probably like this AI stuff because you're hearing about AI nonstop, right? Instead of, looking for the next, Bitcoin solo miner again, another model that comes out, which, I do have an opinion regarding it, which, it's great that there's more competition. There's more models coming out for these Bitcoin solo miners. But at the end of the day, they don't make any money. They just don't make any money. Okay. Unless you hit a block, which is only going to happen to like 1 or 2 people out of the year for those that have these bid axes or whatever. Not very many, big boy miners are hitting, the bigger boy miners are hitting them, but I'm speaking about the solo smaller miners. Maybe a good 1 to 3 people a year are going to hit it, which is really not that many. So anyways, guys, I'm just rambling on at this point. I could ramble on even more, but I'm just going to end it off here and just, I just want to know what you guys feel right now. This is what happens all the time. I've been here for the past 3 cycles now. When you see companies that are exiting, businesses that are failing because they don't have the capital, they don't have the revenue, they don't have the profit anymore to keep on going, this is what happens. Okay. And in order to take advantage of it and stay afloat, to stay above all this, is you got to have the means to stay afloat, to survive, to continue on, to mine within your means, maybe buy Bitcoin within your means, and just as an investment for long term. As long as your time horizons are much longer and you do everything within your means, okay, which I think is probably the best way to do it in my experience, is just to continue on building your portfolio, building your wealth, building your assets, building, it's not just crypto, but building other forms of investment too, just to diversify, right? So yeah, guys, I really don't have I don't really have like a final message to say to you all, other than, you know, I think that our industry, we are riding on a fine line right now, but we all ride on a wave. It feels like all of us, all the people, all the businesses in Bitcoin, we all ride the wave, and you know, some are going to survive, some are not, and it's definitely tough, right? It's definitely tough. So let me know your guys' thoughts. Hit that like on the way out, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out. Peace out. Still storing your crypto on exchanges? That's risky. This is the Red Panda Tangent card. Simple, secure, and built for real self-custody. No seed phrases, no complicated setups. Just tap your card, manage your crypto, and you're in control instantly. Secure chip technology keeps your assets protected, even offline. I've tested a lot of hardware wallets, and this is by far one of the easiest ways to get started. If you want true ownership of your crypto, check out the Red Panda Tangent card below. Simple, secure, self-custody. Use code RPM for another 10% off. Link in the video description below.